Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Unleash and Thrive. Are you stuck in your leadership journey? If yes, please continue listening to this podcast because today I'm going to share wonderful tips about mindset shift and how it helps you to grow. And these are the tips or the tricks that top leaders keep on working on themselves and they are not really shared with everyone. So let's start. Is a very fundamental of your life. When you see yourself that you're not growing or you feel that you're stuck in your journey, what should you do? There are two types of people, one who have fixed mindset and some who have growth mindset. Now these top leaders, the performers, they are all having growth mindset. And mind well, this is a skill. It's not something you're born with. This is a skill that you can work on, you can develop and change yourself. So get ready to get into the top performers list. And how do you do that? By doing a simple shift of your mindset. Now, what is this growth mindset and what is it about fixed mindset? So, for example, if you are a salesperson and who is doing good and you have a tough customer, but you're just not able to crack that customer, you're not able to understand what it needs, and you start talking to yourself, this is not my cup of tea, I can't handle this customer. You go to your boss and you tell, oh, this is not something I can handle, please take care of him. Or you're an accountant and when you are in the board meeting, you see the CEOs having giving presentations, talking to the team, and at one point of time you feel, oh, I can't be a person like this, I can't be a CEO. This is your fixed mindset. You have decided and restricted yourself that I cannot do these tasks. But one small shift from fixed mindset to growth mindset is going to change your life. Now, how do you do that? So, first of all, any challenge that comes to you, you have to look it as an opportunity and not as a challenge that is stopping you. You have to understand that there is a process that you need to go through and you need to learn from it. So, for example, you gave a presentation to the board and you get a feedback that it was not good or not up to the mark, or maybe it was one of the worst presentations, or you have performed well on a project but the project didn't pick up the way it should have. That does not define you. It should not define you. You should take that as an opportunity to learn from that. What were the mistakes or what should have been done right instead of what has gone wrong? Take that opportunity, fill in those gaps, learn the skills that you need. If it is a presentation, work on your speaking skills. Understand what you need to do. If you have a fear to go and talk in public, it's a skill. You don't have to worry that you can't be doing it. You have to learn it, work on yourself, and next time go with more confidence. If it's a tough customer, you have to understand what the customer is looking at. Does the customer want quality? Is the customer looking at customer service? What is that he is looking at? And is it that you're giving him? Try to fill in that gap. Learn the skill that you do. If it's a customer service, understand how you can help him. How can you give him a real-time information? If you do this and shift your focus from I can't to I can learn, and this is just a growth path, this is just an opportunity for me to learn. You are already transforming yourself into those top leaders who are constantly working on themselves, on learning new skills and growing. This shift of mindset from fixed to growth is going to change your life forever. How do you do this? Track your thoughts. Just monitor your thoughts on a daily basis. For example, if there is a challenging position in during the day in your normal day work and monitor what is you think, what is your mind giving you, what are you thinking at that point of time. Is it something that is you're feeling embarrassed, or you're feeling, oh, this is not my challenge? Stop your brain, stop your thoughts that point of time, and tell them, no, I'm not going to think negative about this, but I am going to grow from here. I need to learn how I can handle this situation in a better way. If you do this, you are starting to change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and it will help you. Please try this every day. Monitor your thoughts, track them, and consciously make an effort to turn them into a growth mindset. Over a period of time, you will notice that your mind has already started taking the step, because now your brain knows that anytime any challenging situation comes, it has to give you a positive thought. Over a period of time, you will start seeing difference in your culture, in the way you speak, in the way you handle challenges, and this is the real growth strategy. Work on this and do let me know in comment section how does it help you. Another quality, as you're working on your mindset shift, is working with empathy. Nowadays, empathy has become so minimal. Like, you don't really see your colleagues or your bosses or any even parents, or if you go to school, your teachers. You don't find them teaching with empathy or handling kids or your team members with empathy. Believe me, this is one of the most important quality any leader should adopt. Dealing with empathy is not getting emotional or being so dramatic as such, but what you need to do is understand the person's situation. You might find many times one of the good performers of your team suddenly stops performing so good or drops his performance. Does that mean the person who was so good at one point of time is now no more a good challenging person? No, it is very much possible that the person is going through some crisis in the life, or the way your bosses or the teacher has talked to that person is just not right. Being rude during meetings has become just a normal norm. People really don't care what the other person is feeling when you're talking about those harsh words, when you're insulting your team members in front of others. You might be really dealing with a person who had a crisis, who had a mental health issue at one point of time. But as if mental health does not matter anymore. No, it does matter. Your mental health or mental health of any team member is so important. You cannot ignore that. One person, if that person is not able to show it on a report card or on a report from a blood that this is high or low, does not mean that person is not going through any crisis. That person might have faced a depression in his past, or he might or she might have an anxiety or many other underlying issues. And one rude talk or any any talk that is not having with empathy can really trigger them, and they can go into depression again. To avoid this, or to lead your team with full motivation, where they feel motivated, they want to do something for you, they want to outperform themselves, they want to reach the targets that they have been set for them. You need to have that motivational culture around the company. As a leader, you need to be very empathetic. You need to know what kind of emotional crisis the person is going through or might go through. When you're talking, you should have that balance of being firm. This does not mean that as a leader you cannot go and tell the person these are the targets and deadlines that you need to meet. Yes, You need to meet the deadlines. You need to be firm. You have to be strong, but with a very empathetic mode. If you follow this, your team will be so much motivated to work. They would like to follow you. You will have an influence over your team, and that influence is going to help you to become a better leader. So, to become a very good leader, please make sure you include empathy as a part of your life. If you're not doing so, start doing it from today. The third mindset shift for a leader to become a top leader is taking ownership. All the top leaders always make sure they own the risks, they own the actions of not only for themselves but even for their team members. So you would have seen as a normal scenario in lot of corporate offices, in meetings, that when it comes to taking the credit of a project, when it all goes well, there are so many leaders who are ready to take the credit. But when there is a mistake that has happened, it is found as a normal tendency to pick up a team member and put the blame on someone else. The leader, the true leader, and who wants to become a top leader would always take the ownership of the action. If the project has failed or something has gone wrong, then you need to take the ownership. If the team member has not been able to perform or has committed any mistakes, any errors while sending the report, the leader's responsibility is to make sure they take the ownership, they take the blame, and make sure they train the team about the mistakes, they convey the message to the team in a right way so that next time the mistake is not repeated. They learn the lessons, but at the same time leader is there to defend the team, to take the responsibility of that mistake. If you're doing this and you are ready to take up the next challenge, you should always be ready to take the ownership as well. When you take the credit of a project, it is by default, it is implied that you take the responsibility for anything that goes wrong into the project. A true leader will always learn from these mistakes and grow from there. So, to become a top leader from a normal leader, another mindset shift is taking the ownership. Another important aspect for a leadership shift, the mindset shift for a leader, is leading with empathy. What does that mean? It means understanding the emotional needs of your team members. Some of the team members might be thriving and they are happy to have an aggressive challenge. They are ready for the next growth. Some of the team members would be just happy with whatever they are doing and they are really enjoying their work. Some of the team members might be going through an emotional crisis. So, for example, it happened to me once. I was leading a team of 10 members and there was a very good performer. He was working as a chief accountant and he used to perform so well. But after some time, in last few months, I could notice he was not up to the mark. He was not speaking up in the meetings and I was not aware of the reason why. So I decided to talk to him. Just for my surprise, it came to me that he was going through not really a crisis, but he was going through an emotional challenge. He was soon going to be a dad and there were so many emotions, so many responsibilities that were running through. His wife, who was working once, might have to leave her job and he was just trying to understand how he could manage his family. There can be various reasons and there can be various people having various challenges. So if you have to be a leader and you are really working to be a good leader, you need to understand what is the real root cause problem of your team member if the person is not performing or is dropping in performance. Or even if the person is performing, then what is that is driving him or her? leading with empathy is not only about going and saying, oh, you're doing good in your job, or just one comment in the meeting, but it's about really having that emotional connection with your team members, where they have that confidence in you that yes, this manager or this leader is really taking care of us, and they really understand that you mean so much to them. Your team members are your assets, and if you understand them well and you have that connection, you have that bonding with them, that is the time they will have so much motivation coming from you. You will be able to influence them, they will be able to trust you only when they know that you care for them. So next time when you are leading, make sure you lead with empathy, and let me know how that is changing for you. So, to summarize our mindset shift to become a top performer leader from a leader are shifting your fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Accept your mistakes, learn from them, grow from them. Second, lead with empathy. Understand the emotional needs of your team members. And third and most important part is make sure you take the ownership of the project, of the risks that you're taking, and always be there for your team. I hope these tips are helping you as you implement them in your day-to-day life to grow, to lead the position and lead the people the way you want. Or as John Maxwell always says, each and every person deserves to be led well. So make sure and make the difference.